The room went deathly quiet as I hit play on my phone. The Bluetooth speaker crackling to life with my parents' voices cold, cutting, like knives I'd carried in my chest for years. "You're a disappointment." Emily, my mother's voice sneered through the air, filling the suburban Richmond living room where we'd gathered for Grandma Margaret's 80th birthday. "Wasting your life on those silly designs when David has a real career." My father's words followed, heavy and final. "We expected better from you. You're just dragging us down." The family froze. Grandma Margaret's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with horror. Neighbor Sarah's face twisted in outrage. Cousin Alex shifted uncomfortably, his usual poker face cracking. My brother David sat there, stunned, his wife Karen pulling little Tommy closer as if to shield him from the storm I'd unleashed. This wasn't some impulsive act, it was the culmination of a lifetime of silent wounds. The betrayals I'd swallowed like bitter pills at every family dinner. Every holiday toast where my graphic design freelance gigs were dismissed as hobbies while David's engineering job was paraded like a trophy. I'd recorded them in a moment of desperation. After they'd torn apart the photo montage I'd poured my soul into for Grandma's milestone, a visual tapestry of our family's history, captured in pixels and memories. Their dismissal had pushed me over the edge. And now, hearing their venom echo back at them, I felt a twisted mix of vindication and dread. The air thickened with unspoken accusations, the kind that simmer in tight-knit American families where appearances hide the rot beneath. Growing up in our quiet Richmond neighborhood, those Sunday suppers were supposed to be about bonding, but they always left me feeling like an intruder in my own home. Dad, Robert Carter, a retired accountant with his spreadsheets and certainties, had mapped out success like one of his ledgers: stable, predictable, profitable. Mom, Linda Carter, a community organizer who thrived on structure, echoed his tune, their praise reserved for David, my older brother, the golden child with his high-rise office and corner desk at the engineering firm. Me, Emily Carter, 28, scraping by as a freelance graphic designer, turning concepts into visuals that brands paid for well. That was just playing with pictures, as Mom once snapped over pot roast. I'd sit there, fork in hand, forcing a smile while Dad recounted David's latest project win, his eyes lighting up in a way they never did for my portfolio reveals. "That's real achievement," he'd say. The subtext clear, "Not like your flighty dreams." David, absorbed in his world, never intervened. Karen and Tommy, his perfect little family unit, floated above the fray, their presence a constant reminder of the life I was supposed to want but couldn't force myself into. The pressure built like a slow leak, seeping into every call, every visit. Mom probing about my plans, hinting I should settle down like David, whose promotions came with bonuses and security. Dad's sighs were louder than lectures, each one chipping away at the confidence I'd built from late-night client revisions and glowing reviews. But Grandma Margaret, a former schoolteacher with a soft spot for creativity, saw the spark in me. After one brutal dinner, she'd pull me aside, whispering, "Your designs tell stories, Emily. Don't let them erase that." Sarah, our longtime neighbor, offered knowing nods, her quiet support a buffer against the storm. Cousin Alex kept neutral, his occasional texts a lifeline without commitment. Those small affirmations clashed with my parents' disdain, tearing me in two. I wasn't David's carbon copy, and my path, uncertain as it was, felt authentic. Yet their comparisons fueled a quiet rage, one that whispered I had to prove them wrong, not by changing, but by exposing the hypocrisy that had silenced me for too long. That rage ignited a month before Grandma's birthday, when I decided to create something undeniable, a digital photo montage chronicling our family's journey. From black and white snapshots of Grandma's youth to candid shots of holidays past. It was my way of showing Robert and Linda that my graphic design wasn't frivolous. It captured hearts. Preserved legacies. I threw myself into it. Interviewing Grandma over tea in her sunlit den. Her tales of post-war Richmond weaving through my edits like threads in a quilt. Sarah dug out old albums from neighborhood barbecues. Her enthusiasm infectious. Alex contributed a few stories via email. His input sparse, but sincere. I even asked David to chime in. But he waved it off, too buried in blueprints. Karen and Tommy remained on the sidelines, their absence stinging like a subtle endorsement of my parents' views. Nights blurred as I hunched over my screen. Layering filters. Syncing music, a haunting piano score, to evoke the emotions I'd bottled up. Every click felt like defiance. But when I mentioned it to Mom during a call, she pivoted to David's new contract. Dad grunting dismissively in the background. Their indifference hurt. But Grandma's excited check-ins kept me going. Can't wait to see our history through your eyes. Dear. Sarah's texts buzzed with pep talks. Alex's rare sounds cool, a boost. As the deadline loomed. Doubt crept in. What if this masterpiece still wasn't enough? What if they saw it as just another hobby? Grandma's reassurance grounded me. It's your gift to us all. In those final hours, exhausted but alive, I rendered the 20-minute piece a mosaic of love, loss, and resilience. This wasn't just for her, it was my manifesto. A visual scream that my work had value. Little did I know. Their reaction would shatter the illusion of family unity and set me on a path of calculated retribution. The party at my parents' house hummed with life, balloons bobbing, glasses clinking, but my nerves were electric as I queued up the montage on the TV. Grandma Margaret beamed from her armchair, the room dimming as the screen flickered to life with her younger self smiling from faded photos. The music swelled, pulling in stories from Sarah's albums and Alex's anecdotes, creating a wave of nostalgia that had the group leaning in. Grandma's eyes misted over, her hand finding mine in silent thanks. Sarah whispered, "This is magic," her voice thick. Alex cracked a smile, nodding approval. For a fleeting second, I thought I'd bridge the gap. That my design had finally spoken louder than their doubts. Then I caught my parents' faces, Dad checking his watch. Mom's lips pursed as she glanced at David, who was half distracted by his phone. Karen and Tommy barely looked up, the kid fiddling with a toy truck. Applause erupted at the end, Grandma hugging me tight, murmuring, "You've captured our soul." Sarah cheered openly, Alex raising a toast. But Robert and Linda? Stone silent. As guests mingled, Mom cornered me, "Cute little project. But when are you getting a real job?" Dad chimed in, "David's innovations change lives. This? It's a nice diversion." Their words gutted me, reducing months of passion to whimsy. Grandma noticed my pallor, squeezing my arm, "Ignore them. Honey." Sarah pulled me aside. "Fierce. They're blind to your talent." Alex hovered, silent but present. David and his family drifted off, oblivious. The party dragged on. But inside, something snapped, their betrayal too raw to ignore. I slipped away, the hurt festering into a plan. I'd make them hear themselves. Force the truth into the light, no matter the fallout. It happened in their home office. After the guests thinned out, I followed them in, desperate to defend my work. But it spiraled into the confrontation I dreaded and craved. The door shut with a click, sealing us in with the weight of unspoken resentments. That montage wasn't just fun, I started. Voice study. It's my career. My purpose. Mom rolled her eyes. Purpose? You're squandering your potential on pixels. Dad leaned against his desk, arms crossed. We raised you for more than this instability. Look at David, he's secure. respected. The comparisons poured out. Each one a fresh scar, my flaky freelance life versus his engineered certainty. In that haze of pain, my thumb found the record button on my phone, hidden in my pocket. Instinct took over. I needed evidence of their poison. They didn't hold back. You're a letdown, Mom hissed. David provides. You just exist. Dad's voice dropped. We wish you'd wake up from this dream. I pushed back, explaining the heart in my designs. But they interrupted, their words escalating to barbs about my wasted youth. The room shrank, their expectations a suffocating fog. Grandma's faith, Sarah's fire, Alex's steadiness, they felt miles away. Why can't you value me? I choked out. Dad shrugged. We do. We just want better. Mom's final cut. You're not measuring up. I fled. Phone still recording. The audio a damning archive of their rejection. It wasn't revenge yet. But the seed was planted, a tool to dismantle the facade they'd built on my silence. Back in my old room that night, I hit play. Their voices assaulting me anew, disappointment, dragging us down. Not measuring up. It wasn't critique, it was erasure. Branding me inferior next to David's pedestal. Pacing the creaky floors, I replayed the years of slights, Dad's praise for David's promotions drowning my updates. Mom's snide remarks about my unreliable income. Their cold shoulders at the montage reveal. The recording crystallized it. Their love was conditional. Poisoned by favoritism. Keeping it secret felt like complicity in my own diminishment. I envisioned unleashing it at the next brunch. Letting Grandma, Sarah, Alex, even David and Karen witness the ugliness. Would Grandma's heart break at her son's cruelty? Sarah's loyalty ignite into fury? Alex finally speak up? David might squirm. Karen shield Tommy from the fallout. But silence had cost me too much, my confidence eroded. My dreams dimmed. I backed up the file obsessively. The act deliberate. Not frantic. This was no petty strike, it was survival. Born from wounds that had festered in the dark. Doubt whispered warnings. What if this tore us irreparably? What if I became the villain? But their echoes failure. Burden overpowered it. I rehearsed in the mirror. This is your truth. Own it. Grandma's encouragement. Sarah's defiance. Alex's quiet solidarity. They bolstered me. I wasn't after apologies. I wanted accountability. The kind that comes from exposure. The decision settled like a storm cloud. Heavy but inevitable. The next family brunch was supposed to be casual coffee. Bagels. Catching up, but I turned it into ground zero. My hand trembled as I linked my phone to the speaker. The chatter dying as I announced. You all need to hear this. Eyes turned, Grandma's puzzled. Sarah's alert. Alex is wary. David paused his mug. Karen tensing beside Tommy, who played obliviously. Robert and Linda exchanged uneasy glances. I pressed play, and their voices boomed. You're a disappointment. Wasting your life. Dragging us down. The room imploded. Grandma gasped. Tears welling. How could you say that to your own daughter? Sarah's face flushed red. Her voice rising. This is abuse. Plain and simple. Alex, breaking his reserve, growled, You've poisoned her for years. Enough. David's jaw dropped. Guilt flashing, I knew it was bad. But not this. Karen clutched Tommy, whispering comforts as the boy whimpered. Why is everyone yelling? The outrage built like a crescendo. Their shock morphing into a unified front against my parents. Dad stammered, that was private. But Grandma shot back, private? You've publicly shamed her forever. Sarah piled on, you idolized David while breaking her spirit. Disgusting. Alex's words cut deep, your favoritism blinded you. You've lost more than you know. Mom defended weakly, we were pushing her to succeed. But it rang hollow. The family's disapproval a mirror to their isolation. I stood firm. I've begged for your respect. This shows you never gave it. Grandma embraced me, sobbing, "You're my pride." Sarah's eyes burned with solidarity. Alex's nod fierce. David murmured, "I'm sorry. I should have stepped in." The split was palpable, my parents cornered. Their authority crumbled. It wasn't triumph, it was raw. The price of truth hitting us all. In the aftermath, the silence was deafening. But for me, it birthed liberation. Their words hung like ghosts. But I refused to haunt myself anymore. Weeks later, I loaded my car and drove to Charlotte, North Carolina, without a word to Robert or Linda. My new studio apartment, cramped but free, became a canvas for reinvention. I dove into pitches, securing a contract for branding visuals with a local startup, each project a step away from their shadow. Grandma's calls were lifelines, her stories fueling my drive. Sarah's messages cheered every win. Alex's sparse check-ins carried unexpected warmth. Back home, the repercussions rippled. Grandma cut ties. Her disappointment too deep, Sarah's whispers turned neighbors cold. Alex withdrew entirely. David tried bridging, hosting strained dinners with Karen and Tommy. But the cracks showed. My parents' please voicemails. Texts fell on deaf ears, their regrets too tardy, too superficial. My portfolio expanded. A blog on creative resilience drawing followers who shared their scars. I wasn't David's echo, my designs. Authentic and bold. Defined success on my terms. The ache of betrayal lingered. A reminder of boundaries I'd forged in fire. David's outreach softened the edges, hinting at possible mending. But I guarded my peace. The cost was steep, lost parents, fractured kin, but in exchange, I claimed my worth. Their failure wasn't mine, it was the echo of choices they'd pay for alone. If you're carrying similar chains, remember, breaking them hurts, but staying bound destroys.